What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed the last video where I showed you my refeed. In today's video, because I felt inspired, I'm going to show you a slight change in my breakfast, where on a weekend I will make baked, like overnight oats. So I'll use my overnight oats recipe. I steal some of the time for protein from my dessert, which you guys have seen. So I'll take a scoop of that from my dessert, pull it into my breakfast, and then also the only other additional ingredient I use is literally half a teaspoon of baking powder, but everything else is the same. So we've still got my oats, the almond milk, the jam, the maple syrup, and the peanut butter. I'm going to show you this. So if you've got a bit of spare time on a weekend or whatever, and you want to just change up that overnight oats breakfast, so instead of having it from cold and then having it hot, which for me is like a nice little treat, little variation, but I'm still having the same ingredients. All I'm doing is putting it together, banging it in the air fryer, 15 minutes, pull it out, jobs are good. But yeah, I'm just going to run through and make that for you now. I'll do a voiceover of this, so rather than being like on me now, nice close-up of the food going in, mixing it up and just going through the process. So yeah, we're just going to start with the Kavana organic porridge oats. We're going 50 grams of these, bang them in a bowl that's suitable for mixing. Then we just change the units to milliliters because we're going to go with 100 ml of, we've got original almond milk. You could use any milk, but obviously be aware of the calorie difference from different milks. Almond milk is on my plan, so it just makes sense to stick with that. That goes in there. Then we're going to go with the 1 scoop of the cafe latte protein, but obviously you can choose any protein you want, depending on the flavour of the oats. Again, we just weigh this. Should be 20 grams. A little bit more. Lovely. So 20 grams of that. And then we're going to go with the half teaspoon of baking powder. So I do actually have like a correct measurer for this. Just makes life a bit easier. So take that, level it off nicely, bang that in. Then we're going half teaspoon of the cinnamon. Obviously cinnamon is quite a powerful ingredient, so you don't need a lot of this, guys, unless you are like me and you would maybe desire more, but I just stick to the plan. Bang that in there, and then all we're going to do is give it a mix. And what you'll notice is the colouring of the oats, or the mixture, will change. So in this case, it's like a nice, like mocha brown, with it having the cafe latte protein in. I do have lemon meringue protein as well, as you guys probably know. So when I do make it with the lemon, it does come out as like a really nice, well, just not quite yellow, but lemon colour, obviously, because it's lemon flavoured. Do say some funny things, don't we? So we take that there, and then all you need to do then is get yourself an oven-proof dish. So a ramekin is ideal. You're going to pour your mixture into this, and then you're going to bang this into the air fryer for 15 minutes. If you haven't got an air fryer, just bang it in the oven, 180 degrees. 15 minutes is the advised time for oven cooking. I do also just do that for the air fryer as well, just so I make sure it's thoroughly baked through. And then I'm just going to level that out, pop that in, the air fryer for 15 minutes. Sit down. Go on then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously I'm not holding them because they are red hot from the air fryer. So I'll just give you a quick look in on these now. So here we have the cafe latte one, and then I did make a lemon meringue one because, well, if I make myself one, I make Amy one as well. But looking at it, I kind of now want this one, but I will stick with this one because it's not fair. So all that's left now is to put the toppings, or sorry, like the fillings inside. So I'll just show you how to do that now. Just going to use a fork and then just like stab the middle to make a nice oozing hole. Jam is the first one for me. So put the jam on the scales. Make sure it's set to the right unit. Take out the correct amount. Too much. Yeah, and then pop that into the middle. Just push that in. And then also the same for peanut butter. Bang that on there. Yep, lovely. Put that in, and then just push that into the middle. And then just basically let that do its thing, heat up, melt the peanut butter, give it like 2 minutes, and then enjoy. Then we do actually have one final ingredient, and that is the maple syrup. So I didn't put it in the oats to begin, so what I'll do is just a nice little drizzle on top, just to really finish off this. One thing left to do is enjoy this meal now. That was incredible, a nice variation of the overnight oats, just baking it. If you've got a bit of spare time and you just want to change up how you have your breakfast, then this is a good alternative for you guys, especially if you do like having oats like as your porridge or whatever. This is just a good alternative. It is actually leg day today, so I'm going to film the workout for you because somebody did ask me when the next Quadzilla workout was coming. So I will film that for you guys today, and that will be going on YouTube, hopefully on Thursday if I'm quick enough. If not, it'll be the Friday, because we've got a big day of filming on Friday as well, so stay tuned because we've got a big video coming for you guys. Right, so that was the breakfast made, and then what I'm going to do now is just flip to my leg session that I did today at the gym. What I'll do is a walkthrough, talk through of the movements that I did whilst in the gym. So, yep, we're just going to head to that now. Right guys, so just to take you through a discussion on the leg day workout. So as you'll have seen in many other Instagram videos or YouTube videos that I've put out, I always start my leg days with some form of a cardiovascular warm-up. It isn't intense by any means, so I will usually opt for the treadmill, which you can see here. I will pop it to a slight incline, probably about 5%, and then just a comfortable walking speed. So probably between 5 and 6 kilometers per hour, depending on how I'm feeling on the day. To get me through this, because obviously it's quite a tedious part of training, just listen to music, get me mentally ready for the legs, or I will opt to watch a YouTube video, usually somebody else's leg day, or just something just to get me fired up, mentally ready for the session ahead. Generally spend about 10 minutes warming up on the treadmill, just to make sure like my hammies are loose. We've got plenty of blood around like the knee joint working already, without any fixed like mechanical movement. We're just doing the walk. But yeah, I always like to make sure my hamstrings are firing up nicely, and we are pushing blood in the right area of the body, just to give myself less chance of an injury, especially in these latter stages of the prep, where an injury is not something I can afford to can't afford to get really. So yeah, always start with a very light warm up, and then moving on, I will move to the abductor and adductor. And what you'll see here is I start with abduction first, firing up my glutes, aiming for 15 to 20 reps, and I would do usually 3 to 4 sets of this. Work up in weight, decrease my reps, keep the control, so I'm not just letting, like in this case, the legs just come together, just controlling both movements. But the purpose of this is to make sure that like my hips are loose, firing up, my glutes are on or activated, as I say, and then also when I do the adduction, when it's bringing my legs together, make sure my inner groin is firing up. So before I do any like barbell squats, leg press or hack squat, I am firing up at the hip flexors beforehand. Again, less chance of an injury, primed, ready for the main compound movement, which for me in this leg session was some hack squats. So with this in mind, I set the plate up to a higher angle than what probably most people would have. Just from being shorter, I feel like if the hack plate is down too low, I feel like my feet are slipping off. You'll notice as well I've gone barefoot. I did put my powerlifting shoes on, just for the simple fact that I couldn't be bothered, so just to go barefoot was fine. Take the trainers off because I've got too much sponge and they narrow my foot stance, so I don't feel like I can spread my toes apart to give myself like a wider base of support and a full driving force through the whole foot. This new machine we've got at Shape Changes is absolutely incredible. It's the Panatta, couldn't even think of the name of the brand, hack squat. It's very heavy, don't know how heavy it is on its own, but it's a very strict movement. Depth wise, unbelievable, unlike anything else I've ever been on. Obviously you can get deep in a barbell squat, but this just takes you to new levels. Definitely feel like your shoulders and your knees meet at the bottom of the rep. You'll also notice that I've got some sleeves on around the knees, just really to make sure that I was keeping the joint warm at all times, because I was taking a fair, not too much rest, but enough rest in between sets, just because of how taxing this is. As you can see, we started with a warm-up set and then we moved on to a 10 kilo plate aside. Just did literally like 4 reps here. Didn't want to burn out because I was feeling good. Wanted to progress the weight as best as I could. Moving on to a 20 kilo plate aside. Gave this a run. This was at the time the most I'd done on this machine, which is interesting because I do go up again after this set. But what I've found is, with this sort of thing, with it being a new machine, it's taken me at least 4 to 5 goes of hack squatting to really understand how my body is going to move whilst I'm in the machine, what it takes to get out the hole, where my full depth is, where full range is, at what point my glutes are firing up the most, when my quads take over. So it's not like I've gone from being stupidly weak and I can't move any weight anymore, but I feel like this is definitely a thing. So if you've got a new machine in your gym, or you go somewhere else and you're expecting to do the same way you do when you're back home or whatever, or what you've done on different machines, it might be worth just spending a few weeks really just like learning the machine. Obviously it's not something anybody wants to do, because it takes away from like, or you can think it'll take away from your progress and your progressive overload. But if you can spend a bit of time backing off, it might actually be a good chance for you to get some recovery in, some lighter work, some more thought process on your form and your technique, and therefore when you do come to really understand the machine and you start putting the weight on and you become like one with the machine, so you understand it, it understands you, you know what you're aiming for, you can start to progress the weight nicely, progress in your rep range, and then really benefit from what the machine can give you. So I was a bit unsure on this last set, going an extra 10 kilo aside, which doesn't sound like a lot, but on this movement, as we just explained, there's no escaping this machine basically. So like, you're gonna drop down to the hole if you get full range of motion, and you're gonna have to fight to get yourself back up. You'll have seen, like, when we first got this machine on my Instagram, I said how humbling this machine was, and it is exactly that. But as you can see on this last set, aim for full range of motion. The main thing for me is I'm trying to really control the eccentric on the way down, so I'm not just letting the weight push me down to the bottom and using power and drive just to get up. I want to focus on, like, really tearing every muscle fibre I can in my quads, hamstrings and glutes, and moving efficiently and with good control. I will admit this last set is a little too quick for my liking, but it is new weight, and yeah, you sometimes don't really know how it's going to go. So I had to ask for a spotter from Ollie just to make sure I wasn't going to die, basically. But what an incredible machine the hack squat is, and I will be implementing this weekly to my leg sessions. And then we're moving on to a very basic unilateral movement. So all that means is to work one limb at a time. In this case, I'm going to do a Bulgarian split squat with my back foot raised on a bench, front foot out, dumbbell in the opposite hand to the working leg. And the key focus for me here is to make sure I'm squeezing the glute on the working side. So if I have the dumbbell in my left hand and I'm essentially got my right foot out in front of me, when I'm driving up through the floor, I'm trying to squeeze my glute to bring me up. As you can probably see here, just trying to get some mind muscle connection to make sure I am actually firing up at the glute and I'm not just trying to push up to stand up. Nice hamstring sweep. But yeah, that is the focus of the split squat for myself. So yeah, that was actually pretty much it for my leg session. After the hack squat, my legs are absolutely fried. I worked up in weight up to 20 kilo on the Bulgarian split squat, and I was just doing 12 reps each leg, and I just did 4 sets in total on that, and that wrapped up my leg session for the day. So yeah, what we had there was a warm-up, a primer for the hips, glutes, groin, big compound movement in the hack squat, worked up in weight, a few sets there, and just a nice finisher, but good one for the legs, is the Bulgarian split squat with a dumbbell. Again, like I said, focus on your glute, squeezing your way up. You'll get your quads as well. Try not to lock the knee out at the top of the movement, so you keep constant tension at all times. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that little walkthrough, talk through of how I did my legs yesterday. And then, yeah. That was a very successful leg session today. I managed to get, well, a PB on the hack squat. I think a lot about the hack squat really is, with it being a new machine, it's like learning and understanding the mechanics of the machine. So whereas it's not like I'm any weaker than like my barbell squat, but like I didn't understand really like what it felt like to be that sort of like depth at the bottom of the rep. So that was like my 4th go on the hack squat at the gym. Felt very good today to say I'm in such a deficit. I think a lot of it is just like learning path alignment, mechanics of the machines, especially when they're new, and getting confident with it. So yeah, that wraps up today's leg session and the breakfast baked oats. Hope you enjoyed the video as always, trying to keep it short and sweet over this like prep time, and we are nearly 3 weeks out. As I mentioned earlier, hello Ted, we have a special video coming up, a bit of filming on the Friday, so this will drop on Thursday evening, so tomorrow filming again, hopefully like some good visuals and stuff, so stay tuned. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Say bye, Ted.